All right, BobalosRex here, and today we're talking housing, WoW housing, and my desire for a roadmap. Can we please get a housing roadmap? I know housing is on the roadmap, but let's talk about it. So, in 12.1, we are finally getting housing update. All right. Oh, and Pepe's here. So, we're getting some big housing updates. We are getting new endeavors. All right. A couple. Four, I think. We are getting new levels of housing. All right. You can go to 10, 11, and 12. All right. All new levels here. So, we get a couple more levels. All right. And we get pets. All right, we get a couple new features. We can edit our door. All right, if I wanted to edit my front door, I can take my entry and then move it all around. That's freaking neat. All right, we got blueprints. All right, let's get leave the floor pan. Let's get back to decorate mode. We have blueprints. All right, that we can access, import, and save blueprints and all that stuff. And then they themselves will be selling blueprints. All right, so you can do all that. And like I said, you got pets here. So 12.1 is adding quite a few housing things that I like. We also got large exteriors, right? So at 12, you can get large size houses, right? Your plot doesn't get bigger, but your house size gets bigger. So again, it's some good stuff, but I still have some big questions, and that's the main point of this video. I have these big questions that a roadmap would solve. All right, so let's talk about it. So first off, when to expect new levels. All right, it does seem like we should expect new levels with a major patch now at this point, right? So it started with early access. We got to level 4, 5, you get a little ways there. All right. Then once midnight hit, we could get all the way to 9. All right. And it's been that way for the 0.5, the 0.7, and now finally in the 0.1, we can get to housing level 12, which is great and all, but I'm also sitting here wondering, so that's when we're going to get new levels? Every major patch? If that's the case, give us a roadmap to tell us that that's going to be the case, right? Every major patch will get new levels. The in-betweeners, not so much. All right? Little sad, but it's fine. Now, with blueprints, they're going to be selling blueprints. There could be a question, when are we going to get new blueprints? But I would bring this more into the features category. Like, right now, in housing, they're adding lots of features, right? Moving your entryway. Basically, fixing it up right? Pets. Hopefully soon, I think we're going to be getting the weapon rack stuff. Maybe transmog mannequins. I do want to give the housing team time to fix that stuff, get that stuff working. We saw in a 0.7 them give us exterior lighting. All right, so they will give us some stuff in these 0.5 and 0.7 patches to fix housing. So maybe we could see a feature pushed in one of those. But again, I would love to see a roadmap to maybe see, we should just expect things on these major patches and maybe not the in-betweener patches. Or they can say, hey, we do plan to push some housing stuff in these minor patches when we can, so they can give us something to look forward to. Because they basically hinted at pets coming. Why wouldn't they put it on a roadmap saying, here's pets, this is our plan, etc.? All right. Now, what else? When do you expect new exteriors, right? So we get the large exteriors, right? For Blood Elf, Orc, Night Elf, and Human, right? Now with level 12. How long till we get Dwarf, Draenei, Troll, Tauren, Gnome, Undead. When are we going to get these other exteriors, which are very important, especially if you don't want people to be upset about exteriors in the shop, right? When are we going to see the other exteriors for the other races, right? The fact that we didn't see any in this patch right off the bat for the other races, I know they may have some plan they mentioned and some were data mined for the shop, but when could we expect to see more exteriors? A roadmap would be great. And I'm concerned when we get new exteriors like dwarf, etc., troll, whatever, is it going to be piecemeal to us? Like, are we just going to get small and medium and we'll have to wait for large? Or will we get small, medium, large all at once? That would be great. If we get them all at once, I'm fine with waiting, right? So we get access to exteriors in this point 1. In the point 2, we get trolls, tauren, dwarves, and gnomes. All right? Something like that. All right? Fill in the gaps. It would be great to know. Roadmap would help. All right? And then if we get them and if we get all the levels like small, medium, large, that'd be worth it, right? I get it takes time to make all that stuff. Is the reason that stuff is put on the back burner because they're working on these features? Maybe. Roadmap could help us maybe lay it out. Or another post. I think it's been a while since I've done a housing post. Now, when to get new endeavors. It does look like we are going to be waiting for major patches for endeavors. I really hope that's not the case. But I guess it kind of fits. But they may need to give us a little bit more. Because they're giving us 4 endeavors now. Most people will do 2 neighborhoods, maybe more, and get 2 endeavors done at a time. So people are going to be finishing up these endeavors. But to be fair, this comes out in August. So the new endeavor starts. 1, 2, 3, 4. That gets us to the end of the year. But then are we, is that how we're going to be expecting to get endeavors? 4 every major patch, to maybe 2 other specific ones to fill in the month or so in between. That's going to kind of suck, but you know what? I'm not too upset with that. If that's the pace of endeavors, I'm fine with it. But again, to the people upset that may be upset, I think a roadmap at least showing us that's how it's going to be, now we understand, and as far as I'm concerned, whether or not we get a roadmap, the levels, the endeavors, I think that's the extent of major patches now. We're for sure getting new levels, for sure getting new endeavors, and then what else in between is up for grabs. But the last thing I want to talk about is new neighborhoods, right? So we didn't see a neighborhood in this point 1. Do we see us getting 2 new neighborhoods in the point 2? At this point, it seems unlikely. Okay? So, are we waiting expansions to see new neighborhoods? I'm afraid that may be the case. So, at the end of the day, I would love for Blizzard to release a housing roadmap. But as far as what I'm seeing, we should expect new levels every point major patch, all right, of an expansion. Some new endeavors, all right, 4 or 5 new endeavors. Maybe we'll see new blueprints or features sprinkled in while they're still working on that. And who knows how long we'll be waiting for new exteriors. Hopefully we get some in a 0.5 or a 0.7, but we may be waiting for a 0.2 to actually see new exteriors now that they're done with the small, medium, large dealio. And I don't see us seeing a new neighborhood until the Last Titan at this point. I would like to be wrong, but that may be the case. Maybe in pre-patch of the last Titan, we'll get that neighborhood. But, we'll have to see. Either way, thank y'all for watching. FYI, the next .1, the next time we'll get endeavors or new housing levels won't be till next year. All right? The .2 should be in like February or January at earliest. So yeah, we'll be waiting a while for new housing levels unless they speed this up and maybe give us a roadmap. All right. But that's it for now. Thank y'all for listening. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.